Hey, how's it going? So, I am smiling right now, but actually, I'm a little bit creeped out uh, because I came home and my door was unlocked. Now, that might just seem like I forgot to lock the door, except this is something that I have OCD about, obsessively compulsive in closing down my apartment wherever I go because we're on the first floor, and as you can see, how incredibly exposed we are. Anybody can just crawl through that window. It's just a huge window, for example, and it's like that everywhere. So, and not only that, I actually double checked and made sure that the door was closed. But when I returned, it was unlocked. And there was a time period several months back when I thought I myself was becoming a TI, target individual, because I had a series of incidents that occurred like all at the same time that weren't like that unusual in themselves, but the time frame, the condensed time frame in which they occurred just seemed kind of odd. Well, one of them was really odd. I made a couple of videos about it, probably like in October or November, where my desk at work, I come back and there was a roll of toilet paper sitting exactly in the middle of the table. And it was a locked room that only I could access. And then other things after that. But they all stopped. So I figured it was just a series of matrix glitches or just some sort of weird kind of condensed synchronistic events all at the same time for whatever purpose or reason. And what I'm saying is that I'm just hoping that this doesn't become a pattern again, because I know 100% that I locked the door. I double checked it when I left. Literally, like I locked the door and I turn around and then I turn back around and I lock it again and make sure it's locked. That's kind of a thing I do in general. So nothing changed in the apartment though. Everything looks the same. So it doesn't look like any there was a break-in or anything. But it's kind of a depressing drive where I went. This area, this neighborhood that never used to have a homeless camp has a massive homeless encampment. Um, and when I say massive, I mean just one tent right next to another, going for at least half a mile or more. And not too terribly surprised where it's located across the street from a social security building. But been seeing more and more of these homeless tents, like places that look like Skid Row in LA, popping up in my area, which is a nice area. There's just encampments absolutely everywhere, and uh, empty buildings absolutely everywhere with no businesses, with nothing, just for sale signs as far as the eye can see. And supposedly, we're in this tremendous recovery, and the Fed is projecting 6% GDP growth this year, but it seems like things have just kind of stalled and are just like staying in place and are completely not moving anywhere, at least. Next month I'll be in Florida. Maybe things are different there. I'm sure it's better over there, but just wanted to point that out. It just brought back memories of me returning to Russia, year 2000 and 2003. And in 2003, things improved significantly from 2000. But I just remember just homeless everywhere in Moscow and St. Petersburg, just as far as the eye can see. And a large majority of them were pensioners and older people, which is the type of world we live in. We work someone like a slave until they can't take care of themselves, and we just throw them out, throw them into a retirement home and forget they exist, and or abandon them on a street like in Russia because their pension just doesn't pay them enough to even survive in some instances, depending on where they are and what kind of work they did and things like that. Um, and then on top of that, you have a tremendous alcoholism and drug abuse problem there, still is to this day, and it's really sad. It's I kind of the cultures in the world that I have a lot of respect for the cultures of the world that take care of their elderly people, like a lot of Asian cultures and a lot of indigenous cultures who care about those who have worked and slaved away all their lives, and it's now time for them to rest. And this has always been a pet peeve for me. Like, I've always questioned whether I wanted to make it to old age. And where we are now, I mean, we're headed for a train wreck either way. So, how many of us will even make it to old age is probably unknown at this point. I saw a meme the other day. It said, my retirement plan is preparing for societal collapse. And I think that's a common theme for millennials like me. That's probably the closest thing to a retirement plan we're going to get. It's just the evil, vile, disgusting system. And I know I'm off track. I had those homeless tents in my mind and I couldn't get them out, so I had to say something about it. It was just so sad to see. Uh, yeah, but I hope that doesn't become a pattern. Oh, one more thing. So the show went really well yesterday. Uh, I think that was our best one. We talked about the Apollo moon missions, and I'm loving this podcast. I'm learning so many new things I never learned before, and it's really great. It's a learning experience, and there's a lot of sketchy things about those missions. I'll tell you that much. There really is. So if you want to check out that show, I shared the link in my prior video. So down below in the comments. All right, take it easy.